Hello, gorgeous tribe. Welcome to my live. I'm so pleased to see everyone.
Nuggets of light, wisdom and grace.
So, when I got this story, I felt, oh my God, this is too deep. This is too close to home. I was really emotional when I was sharing the story. And I thought, with all the feedback I've been getting since yesterday, it just shows that 1,000 and 1,000,000 people are resonating with this story, which means it's things that happen. So that's one of the reasons why I decided for us to discuss it today, because in every pain, there has to be a way out. So we will get there to that healing part. But another thing I said yesterday was betrayal confronts you like because you're innocent. It confronts with your innocence, right? And you start asking yourself, those painful questions. Was I blind? Was I this? Was I that? Why didn't I see that? And that's what I call emotional violence that people don't talk about. People just tell you, oh yeah, my husband cheated. Oh yeah, I was betrayed. Oh yeah. But they don't really open up to tell you that violence they felt inside of them and how to seek help. Do you think when people don't acknowledge that part of the journey, it can impact healing? It can impact their healing process or the length of time they take to heal? What do you think about that?
I think healing is a journey, like you said. It's not. It's a huge journey, and it differs. It depends on each person's individual experience as well. And it depends on the magnitude of the issue as well. Like this one we're talking about, it's a life and death issue. She could have died on that bed table donating her kidney. So many things could have gone wrong. She could have come alive, actually not died. After donating the kidney, your life can never be the same again where you give one of your organs out, So it depends. But healing, it's a journey. You have to take them step by step. So you've got the grieving, you've got the anger stage, you've got the grieving kind of stage, you've got the shocking stage, and you have to go through each of the stages until you get to the stage of acceptance. It's like grief. You accept that actually this has happened. So now what do I need to do? Do I move on? Do I stay still in this situation? How do I handle it? Do I come back to myself, or do I keep living in the reality of this evil world of whatever happened? So when you get to that point where you're ready to actually move on, that is when the healing process starts. But in the process of shock, grief, anger, whatever, anxiety, what depression, healing can never start until you get to the point where you come back to yourself, pick yourself up and say, you know what? I am ready to move on. And that's when the healing process starts. And healing can take ages.
You can't really tell people how long to heal.
No. Yeah. And people might never heal. They might bury the grief and the pain and still keep living like nothing has happened. People are able to do that. But in that case, there's always that trauma hidden within the heart, which any trigger can bring out anytime,
Yeah, I agree.
For those stages before the healing journey then begin.
So guys, if you're going through what we're talking about now, it's okay to feel the way you feel. Your feelings are 100% valid, right? Because you have to acknowledge that fact that something happened. Something happened inside of you that has been, that has shattered your trust. It has shattered your heart. Not because you're weak. You have to accept the fact that you are not weak for feeling the way you feel or acting the way you act. It's okay to be outraged. It's okay to get upset. It's okay to cuss out. It's okay to do anything you just feel like doing at that time because you're human. So I don't want you to feel like, oh, I am being a bad person because I reacted this way. Like people will always say, narcissists blame you when you react to what they trigger you to react
Absolutely.
for. So it's only normal. And then I moved on to the healing strategies. There were lots of healing strategies that I could talk about, but because of the time frame of the video, I kept to just 3. And we're going to talk about the 3 strategies. So the first one I shared was, don't make decisions while hurting. Because clarity is impossible when you're going through that kind of pain. The second strategy I talked about was step away from the environment. Some people might read that wrongly. Some people might say, oh, are you telling us to leave our husbands? Or are you telling us to leave our wives? Or are you telling us to leave? That's not what I'm saying. But the truth is, everyone, I don't know about you, I've been betrayed as well. Not maritally, but with friends. And the first thing you want to do when you're betrayed is to step away from that environment. Because the more you are in that vicinity or in the same room with that person, the more the pain triggers, the more the pain hurts, the more the pain never stops. So, like I said, I have a few people who've been through this before, and some of them, the worst they did was to just step out to another room, or the person went to another space, and yeah, that's what I referred to when I talked about leave the environment. And the third one I said was tell one safe person. Of course, this is a sure must, because it is very unhelpful if too many people know about it. You're not going to broadcast to the world. You're not going to go on live and say, oh, my husband cheated on me or my wife cheated on me. And that's not it, because people will have opinions. Life has taught me that everyone has opinion about what you do. And when you're going through difficult situations like that, you don't want to be confused the more. You don't want voices that confuse you the more. So you just want to be focused. Speak to one person, speak to a safe person, not just one person. Like I said in one of my previous episodes, people record conversations nowadays.
Yeah.
So it's hard to even trust people with things like this. But as a grown up, we all have friends and we know what category our friends sit in our lives. There are friends that will come to my house and they will just stay in my studio like this. I won't take them to my room. And there are friends that I will take to my bedroom. So when you have friends and you are a wise person, and like Gloria said, if you're sensitive, you can read people from a distance. And you can know who you are safe with in terms of conversations, things you're going through, and so on. But the most important one that I will recommend is a therapist, because a therapist is neutral. They are just there. They're just listening to you. They're listening to you vent. They're listening to you tell them exactly how you feel and so on. So my question about that is, why is it unhelpful when you involve too many voices at that stage?
I think at that stage, if you involve too many people, you can't get clarity. Like you said, you've listed three things, three very important goals, that people could follow when such things happen, which is clarity. The first thing, if you experience things like this, the first thing is the pain floods your system. You're not thinking rationally. The brain shifting to survival mode, because at that point in time, you're not thinking. Your reasoning mode is gone. You just want to kill someone. You just want to do the worst case scenario, basically. So logic drowns under your emotions. You need to be in that state of emotional stability for you to be able to reason and have clarity and be able to know what exactly to do. Without that, you will be doing the wrong thing. And part of doing the wrong thing is speaking to the wrong set of people, which will not help the matter, So you have multiple questions. Take time out, for you to deal with that pain, for you to deal with that, that survival mode. In order to be able to get to that reasoning point, you need to distance yourself. In the quietness, in the stillness of your moment, you'll be able to think straight. Distance creates oxygen. And when you step away from the source of pain, your nervous system can begin to regulate. You can breathe better, because when you're in pain, your oxygen level is up. Your breathing is up. You're depressed. You're thirsty when you're hot, when it's cold. You're cold when. So you need to regulate your body. You need to distance yourself. Thoughts can line up instead of colliding when you distance yourself. Without distance, betrayal keeps re-injuring you. That's one point. Without keeping the distance, the betrayal keeps it, because you keep living the story over and over again. And the perspectives, it slowly replaces the panic. So when you distance yourself, you sit down, you visualize, you think, what's the next step? What is the next step of action? What can I actually do? And why is it helpful to involve people, the right set of people, like you said, because pain makes you quite porous. Anything goes in. Every suggestion at that point in time sings. Anything anybody says sings at that time. So every opinion seeps in, basically, adding confusion to your devastation, and too many voices can drown you out of your own intuition. So you need to be very careful when things like this happen. Take out time, take yourself out. The very thing you need to hear most at that point in time is yourself. And then having the right set of people. If you have mentors, if you have psychologists, like you said, counselors, someone you can talk to who are professionals, who would not be biased, who will give you, a professional opinion and guide you through the journey.
Yeah,
that would be the best thing to do. But if you have mentors, people you respect in your life, and intuitively, that they're going to keep whatever has happened between you. They're not going to be judgmental. They're not going to be biased, but they're going to be truthful in supporting you through the journey. Then you can speak to that set of people, not more than one or two people. The more it goes out, the more it becomes a problem. You become the story of the community, basically. So it's very important to be able to get yourself into that place of clarity, distance yourself, take yourself away to kind of process what has happened. And then when you've got clarity, you'll be able to choose the right set of people that can support you in this journey of faith. That's how I see it.
Excellent. Then another thing that has been ringing in my head since yesterday is, why does the body shut down? What is the relationship or the correlation between the mental state of what you're seeing, that betrayal, that text you saw? How does that affect her physical body?
And the body shuts down. When betrayal hits very deep, like I said earlier, you freeze. Imagine me picking up my phone and seeing that. The first thing is you're like, no, you freeze. You're not processing. And like I said earlier, one of the ancient ways of your body reacting to shock is freezing, basically. When the unimaginable thing happens, you can't think straight. I remember, I'll give you a quick story of when my dad passed away, which was quite traumatic, right in my home, and I went in there just to wake him up in the morning, to get ready for the day. He came visiting me in England, and we went to bed same time the night before, and I went to wake him up in the morning, and I said, Dad, I didn't hear anything. I walked out of the room, and then I felt goosebumps, quite cold shiver, and I decided to walk back in. Yeah, I walked back in. So unlike my dad, and I tried to wake him up again. When I said Dad, and I touched him and he was cold, at that point, more on the medical line as well as in my profession. So I know the first thing I needed to do was to do, a chest compression. I don't know what it's called. Anyway, I tried to pick up my phone, call 911. I didn't know what 911 was again. I froze. I didn't remember the number. I didn't know what to do. I just froze. I just stood there. So when you are in deep pain, you freeze. Your body naturally freezes. That's what happens. You can't process things at that time because it's an overwhelming survival mood of what has just happened, an unimaginable thing. Your nervous system, it presses pause. Everything just stops, everything stops. You can't process at that point in time. And that's why when we are in situations like that, we go into shock because it's an unimaginable, you can't express it, basically.
Yeah. I'm so sorry about that. That must be a lot that you went through.
Oh, part of life, but yes, it's part of the healing process, and that's where all my books and my journey in this healing, the healing journey came from. So I'm still healing, but it's nice when you talk about it because it does help the healing journey as well. You share your experiences, and you also grab on the experiences from people around you to help hold you up and totally heal in the journey. But it could be very difficult, but yeah, your body freezes. You go into shock. Absolutely shock. Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you for sharing that part with us today. Oh, wow. We do have a lot of questions. I've got one flashing on the screen now. So Damilola Ayomide said she's been through betrayal and now she has issues with trust.
In the quiet, in the storm, There's a voice that keeps us warm through the tears and through the fight. Pola's nuggets shine so bright. Nuggets of light, wisdom and grace, healing the heart in every space. Real talk, real love, real truth we find with gorgeous.
It's gorgeous, Pola.